begin, Your Honor, permission to approach the bench and retrieve previous submitted evidence.
Commissioner Green.
Places to the flyer.
I actually don't have the flyer. Give it to the jury.
Please introduce yourself to the members of the jury and spell your last name, please.
Hi, my name is Emily. My last name is Midori. That's Midori.
Tell the members of the jury about yourself.
Sure. I'm a huge poli-sci nerd. I always have been, especially when it comes to local government. I'm very involved. In fact, this is a pretty cool experience to meet real jurors and real lawyers. This is a real treat for me to be here.
How are you involved in the local government?
I volunteer twice a week with the Parks Department. I help conduct the public forums for my community, so we can kind of air their grievances. I read to kids in the library twice a week during the summer months for the Get Up and Read program. And I'm also a polling place manager for District 12.
What do you do as a polling place manager?
I mean, I don't mean to brag or anything, but I pretty much run the show. You know, I have a staff that I manage, and it's our job to make sure that everybody who wants to vote has an opportunity to do so.
How long have you held this position?
Oh God, it's been a while. 2006 is when I was hired by the Midlands Election Commission.
So what location do you manage as a polling place manager?
Well, I live in the District 12, the Bellevue neighborhood, so it only makes sense that that's the place that I would manage.
You said that you worked as a polling place manager since 2006.
Yes, ma'am.
Does this mean that you were working the 2015 mayor election?
Yeah, it definitely does. I was a polling place manager then. This was one for the books, let me tell you.
Why is that?
Okay, well, in leading up to the election day, it just seemed like one candidate would have a rally over here, and everyone would be so excited, registering to vote and stuff. And then the next weekend, another candidate would have an event, and everybody would be really excited about that candidate. It's just, everybody seemed to really like both candidates for mayor.
Well, who were the candidates for mayor?
Well, there was Mayor Max Heisman. He was running for re-election. He'd been our mayor since 2011. And then there was the challenger, Elizabeth Ginger, who was from District 12, so that was pretty cool. Yeah, everybody just seemed to really like both candidates.
So as a polling place manager, to your knowledge, does District 12 have a good voter turnout?
I would say that in my experience as a polling place manager, it seems like District 12 has a lot of people who like to, talk the talk. I see a lot of people at rallies, registering to vote. They put the signs in their yard, but on, election day as a polling place manager, I don't always see the same people actually show up to cast their vote.
Was 2015 any different?
Not really. I saw a lot of the same thing. I would talk to people at rallies. They would seem very excited. But then come election day, I didn't really see any of those people around, out to vote.
Okay, now I want to move on to election day.
Sure.
How did that day start for you?
Well, I was up and at 'em. The polls opened at the crack of 7, so obviously I was there about 3 a.m. to make sure everything was set up and ready to roll.
Where was the polling place located?
It was at the Slolo Gym this year.
Is the Slolo Gym the usual location for the polling place?
Not really. Usually it's at the high school that's up the street, but this year it was at the Slolo Gym.
Do you know why it was changed this year?
Well, I was actually informed that there were safety issues at the high school. We can't put, the security of voters at risk, so the Slolo Gym it was.
And to your knowledge, who makes changes about the polling place?
Well, as far as I know, that decision comes from the Midlands Election Commission.
You just said the Midlands Election Commission.
Yep.
Explain to the members of the jury what that is.
Okay, so the Midlands Election Commission is just like a state entity that deals with elections in the state of Midlands. So when there's a presidential election, they deal with the election in Midlands, all the way down to mayor candidates.
So what's the difference between the Midlands Election Commission and the mayor's office?
Okay, so the Midlands Election Commission is a state entity, and then the mayor's office would be like local government. So obviously the state kind of trumps the local.
Well, how do you know this?
Well, the commission and I go way back, you know, they hire and fire polling place managers such as myself, and I help them distribute information about, you know, election on election years.
So for this election, and to your knowledge, was the District 12 voters aware of the change?
Yeah, the Midlands Election Commission published a lot of information, you know, with my help, of course. In fact, I was featured on a lot of the radio ads that people may have heard them. I came up with the slogan myself, so I'm pretty proud of it. You want to exercise your right to vote? The slow legit, March 17th. So funny, it's good. I was really excited about it.
So I'm going to take you back to election day. After you got done setting up the gym, or what happened?
I mean, it ran like every other election. It was definitely a stressful day. I tried to answer voters' questions as much as possible whenever I could. You know, I tried to keep the lines moving as much as possible, as fast as I could get people in and out of there. I patrolled the place just to make sure everything was running as smoothly as it possibly could.
And was things running smoothly that day?
Yeah. Not really. It was a heck of a day. You know, it was very stressful. The lines were super long. I'm sure that had something to do with the location change, but things did get better once we closed the place at 10 p.m. I felt a lot better then. I felt good. I felt like my staff and I had done our jobs. As far as I knew, everyone who had wanted to vote that day had the opportunity to do so.
Objection, Your Honor, lack of personal knowledge.
And Your Honor, I believe the witness phrased it as far as I knew. Your Honor, so if she would have that knowledge, it's her knowledge.
May I respond to those grounds? In that case, there's been a lack of foundation as to how she would actually know anything about the voters that wanted to vote, getting the chance to vote. We've heard no foundation that she was asking voters who were leaving whether or not they actually wanted to vote. We've heard no foundation for her to actually make that claim.
And Your Honor, this goes to weight, not admissibility. This witness has already laid the foundation that she's a polling place manager, so she would have to be there on election day, and she would see if people left the lines, Your Honor, or if people did not vote, Your Honor. And so this witness has said, to her knowledge, everybody that wanted to vote got an opportunity to vote.
May I respond on those grounds?
Objections overruled.
You were saying?
Oh, I just said that, at 10 p.m. we locked the doors. I felt pretty good. The day was over. And, as far as I was aware, everyone who wanted to vote had the opportunity to do so.
And so what happened once you left the snow dojo?
Okay, at this point, I was weak, exhausted. I'd been there since 3 a.m. It was now well after 10 p.m. I just wanted to go home and get some shut-eye. So I headed to my car. And on the way to my car, I see this flyer. It was posted on the building that my car was parked next to. So I took a look at it.
What did this flyer look like?
It had the Midlands seal on it, kind of like the information that the Midlands Election Commission distributes to voters.
Is this the flyer that you saw?
I mean, it looks like it from here, yeah.
Permission to approach the witness?
Permission granted.
Thanks. Is that the same flyer that you saw on election day?
Yeah, it looks like it.
When you saw this flyer on election day, did any of the statements in that flyer seem to be true?
Not as far as I know, no. I mean, this talks about the fact that you have to own a home if you live in District 12 to vote, which obviously isn't true, and you have to have a college degree to vote. That's not true either.
Now, when you saw this flyer on election day, did you associate this flyer with Mayor Heisman's campaign?
No, I mean, it doesn't even have his name on it.
When you saw this flyer, did it favor either candidate?
No, I mean, it doesn't mention anything about campaigns or anything. What I got from this is that it was trying to get people not to vote. How does a candidate win when nobody votes? Like, both people lose out,
And to your knowledge, who distributes voting requirements to the public?
As far as I know, that's the Midlands Election Commission. That's how it's always worked when I'm the polling manager.
Thank you. At this time, I have no further questions. Permission to approach the witness and retrieve evidence and tender to the bench.
Permission granted.
Thanks.
Yours.
Permission to set up the well, Your Honor.